Hello everyone. Azure AI Agent Service makes it easy to spin up the agents without much coding. But here's the thing. By default, large language models don't have the live internet access. They have got a knowledge cutoff date, which might be an year old. But now imagine you have got a workflow in your environment where your agent needs to pull the latest information from the internet. It can be checking the latest cloud service status updates or the security advisories that you need to know right away. So, in that case, you need a way to get your agent connected to the web. Azure AI Agent Service does have a built in option to use the Bing search, but that's only available for the paid subscriptions. So if you want a more flexible approach, in that case, you can use something like the SerpAPI. And now the question is, what is SerpAPI? It's a service that lets your agent fetch the real-time search results from multiple search options, engines like Google, Bing, or Yahoo. So it gives you the structured JSON data so that agent can easily read it. So now to use the SERP API with your Azure AI Agent Service, you need an OpenAPI 3.0, which is actually a standard way to describe how your API works. It's a blueprint that tells your agent how to talk to an external service. So what endpoints to call, what parameters to use, and how to authenticate. So in this video, I'll show you step by step how to integrate the SERP API into your Azure AI Agent Service using OpenAPI 3.0 specification. We will create a connection for authentication, set up OpenAPI specification, and have your agent pull in the fresh internet data. So let's get started with the lab. I'm logged into Azure portal now, and let's start with Azure AI Foundry. Go to Azure AI Foundry here and create a new hub and project. So let's create the new resource group, SERP API RG. Let's name it as Shailendra SERP API 001, and we'll use the region East US 2, and let's name the project same, just write PRJ in the end. Next, everything default, and we'll just create the hub and the project here. So validation is successful and it has started the deployment. I'll pause the video and we'll be back once this is done. So the deployment is successful now, and let's quickly go to the resource. We are in the hub now, and let's open the Azure AI Foundry portal. I'll just quickly sign in. So I am in the project which is created, as you can see here, with the name project here. So now to create an agent, go to the agent. Because we haven't deployed any model, so it will automatically ask us to deploy a model. So let's choose GPT-4o, confirm, and I'll just increase the number of the tokens, deploy. And once this model is deployed, automatically an agent will be created. So as you can see here, this agent is created. You can name it as web agent or anything which you want. Now let's put it to test and go to try and playground, where we'll test this agent whether it's working or not. And perfect. See, it's very easy to create an AI agent using the Azure AI Agent Service, and you don't need to learn the coding and anything. So you can just quickly create it, spin it up the agent. However, this is just a basic chat agent right now. You can add multiple tools, which I'll quickly show you. But right now, I want to show you something else. So if you'll ask the date, what is the date today? It will provide the cutoff date or the knowledge cutoff date, which is October 19, 2023. So that is the problem. If we need the latest information, that is not available with our LLM or the chat application or AI agent. To do that, what we can do is we can go to the knowledge tools, click add, and there is an option of grounding with Bing search and grounding with Bing custom search. You can deploy this, but my subscription is the credit subscription. It only works with the paid subscription. Now let's try a different approach, which is SerpAPI. So first look for SerpAPI. You have to register it. Go and register. I have already done it, so I have the API key. Once you register, you get 1000 API calls with a key. So I'll go back to the agents playground. Now for using the SERP API, you need to go to the actions tool, click add, and there is an option of OpenAPI 3.0 specified tool. Click here, provide the name, any name you want, and it will be SERP API. If you'll go next, there's an option of authentication. Now there are three options. One is anonymous, no authentication required. Another one is the managed identity, so which will be used when you're using any service which is already in Azure. So if you're using any APIs which are in Azure, then you can use the managed identity. Otherwise, you need to provide the API keys for creating the connection. But now we don't have any connection. So first thing what we have to do is we have to create an API connection for the SERP API. So on the left side, go to the management center, go to connected resources and new connection. Now if you scroll down, there is an option of SERP, but what you have to use is custom keys. So here you have to define like SERP underscore API, or any name you can define it here. Then you have to provide the key value pair. So the custom keys API underscore key, and you have to provide your SERP API key. So I'll quickly get it from the SERP API and just provide it as a secret. So the key is provided now. We have to add the connection and SERP API connection is added. And this has access to our project. Now go to the project, go back to the agent, click on web agent, then the action tools, open API, and let's name it as SERP. You can provide the description, but it's not required, only the name is required. Next, let's choose the authentication method as connection, which we have already created, and it's showing here. Perfect. Now we have to provide the specification. I'll just quickly copy paste it here and I'll explain you. So this is a default format. I will provide you in the description. I will provide a GitHub link where I'll provide the template of this. So first you have to define what is the specification, title, version and description. Then you have to provide the URL for the SERP API. And the most important is the operation ID. So every specification will have the operation ID, what operation has to be performed. So you have to define the search and what it's doing, and it's going through Google, Bing, it's doing using different search engines, and then finally it shows that how the response will be there. If you'll scroll down, it shows the response, how you will get when the response is correct. Another one is the SERP API account. It checks the account whether its authentication is right or not. That also it checks. And finally, you have to define, this is important for you, you have to define which API key are you using. So we have defined API key as the name in this connection. So if you have used something else, so you have to just change it here in the name. So click on next and create tool, and automatically it will be added. So it's added here. Now let's go back to try and playground and let's test it again. We can just check whether yes, action tool is already added. So hi, should answer what is the date today. Okay, my bad. I didn't provide the system instruction. I have added quickly. You are an AI assistant that must always use the SERP tool, which is attached as an action tool to fetch the latest information from the web. And yeah, this is the small system message which is provided so that it always run the tool. So let's test it. Yep. What is the date today? And it's perfect. The date is correct, and you can check in the run that it ran the tool. SerpAPI search happened and it provided all the information. This is in the JSON format, and what we got is a summarized human readable response. So now your AI agent has access to the web, and if you want to deploy it into your environment, you can just click on view code. Now you have to just use the enter ID authentication, where you have to provide the endpoint, and rest of the details will has to be fetched from the managed identity permission. So if you are deploying an app service, then you have to provide the Azure AI user permissions, managed identity permissions on the Azure AI Foundry project. And once this is done, your code will run fine. So that's all I wanted to show in this video. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.